Welcome to the Recharge Zone podcast. I'm your host, Brent Doty, joined with my co-host, Ann-Margaret. Hi, Ann-Margaret.
Hi, y'all.
And we are joined today by two special guests, former interns at the EAA, Destiny and Karen. Welcome, guys.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And we are having Destiny and Karen here because we're talking about the internship experience at the EAA and all about that. So to get started, I think we'd like to start with Destiny. Let's start with you. And can you tell us about your internship experience and what department you worked in?
So I'm Destiny, and I'm a Texas native here, local to San Antonio. And I just graduated at Texas A&M San Antonio in the water resources. Nice. With a bachelor's degree of science. And the department I was working in is the external and regulatory affairs. My internship experience was, I don't know, can we say great? Can we kind of sum it up with great?
Awesome.
And the individuals that I work with in my team, definitely super supportive, absolutely helping me get through every task that I was assigned. Everything was kind of new to me, but over the first couple months, I kind of was able to catch on to the rhythm of how all the processes worked. So definitely shout out to them because they were very helpful in interning.
Nice. That's great. And what drew you to choose the EAA as your internship experience? I'm sure you applied for multiple internships. What made you choose us?
So I actually didn't know too much about the EAA as a whole. I did know about the Edwards Aquifer because I studied, right?
And you came to the EOC.
Right. Yeah, I came to the EOC, and that was actually kind of out of the spur. I was in a research experience. And I got offered, hey, we're going to go to a field trip to the EOC. And I was like, dude, I want to go.
Yeah.
I definitely want to experience that. Mm-hmm. And there I learned that the EAA had internships and they had many positions open. And this was during the summertime. So they're getting ready, for the fall. And that's when I, started my semester again. And I took a look at the EAA's core values, mission and vision, and it aligned perfectly with mine and how I feel as an individual and, how I want to be expressed. Yeah. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I decided to apply, and that's kind of what drew me here, really. Above other things, the EAA is great, but that's definitely one thing that stood out and played a factor.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that part of the story, that she had come here.
Yeah.
Before the internship. Very neat.
That's great. Serendipitous, right?
Right.
How about you, Karen? Can you share a little bit about yourself and how you came to work at the EAA as an intern?
Sure. Yes. So I have been a University of Texas San Antonio student for quite a while now. I completed my Bachelor of Science in Geology there, as well as my Master's of Science in Geology, and I'm actually a continuing PhD student as well. So I have a background in geology. I already knew about the Edwards Aquifer Authority and had even applied as an undergrad for an internship here. But the timing wasn't right then. And so as I began to really consider what I wanted to do when I finally left UTSA, I tried to determine what was really important to me. It was really important for my research to connect with the people locally here, and I also have a background in working with the public and informal education, and so all of that combined, the Edwards Aquifer Authority seemed like a perfect fit. Mm-hmm. So when I saw the job posting for the Communications and Development Department intern, I applied immediately.
Yes. And can you kind of explain to us, so you said that you had applied once before, wasn't right timing, and then it became the right timing when you decided to come here. And is it the component of education drew you to choose ultimately the EAA as your experience?
I think there are a few reasons, but one of them was to get away from just being behind a computer all the time. I really love that. I love the research, but I really needed to engage with people, and I love working with kids in all ages. And so having the opportunity to do that and educate others as well, because the science for me becomes more meaningful when you can take that research and that science and actually share it with someone.
Absolutely.
If you're just doing the science behind a computer and you leave it there, it's not enough. And so being able to share that and inspire others is really important.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah, I like your point about, applying before and the timing didn't work out. As a manager here, I can tell you there are times when we open up an intern position and we might have just a few folks apply and it's not very competitive. And there are other semesters where I have 15 or 20 applications to look at, and it's very challenging to select an intern. So I would encourage people that don't get in the first time to not give up. It might have just been the timing of things, and to continue to apply to other open positions.
Absolutely, I agree completely.
I want to talk a minute about some memorable experiences from your internship. Over the years, I've had several interns, and I have some stories to tell too, but I'll open it up to you guys. Karen, why don't we start with you? Do you have any memorable experiences from your time at EA?
I do, yes. One of them actually, even though I work here at the Education Outreach Center, working with school groups and students that come in to learn more about the Edwards Aquifer, I was given the opportunity to go out into the field and visit a local quarry with one of our other educators here. And with that experience, I got a personalized tour of the quarry from the environmental department over there, which was super interesting. And it gave me a new perspective and a new appreciation for those who are in other industries that maybe might be perceived as using up these vital resources, but they're doing it in a way where it is as environmentally friendly as possible. For example, they use a lot of water at the quarry that I was at, but they actually recycle 90% of it. And they're as conscious as they can be about staying away from the aquifer and adhering to those regulations that are put in place for them. So that was a really exciting experience for me.
That's great. What about you, Destiny? What's a memorable experience, or if you have more than one?
I probably have tons because my department is like, we do a lot. We're always out in the fields, and we go out to all the counties, Uvalde, Medina, Bear, Comal, Hayes, and you just see tons of different things. But I guess the most memorable one that I would say was working with aquifer management. We went on one of the easement inspections, and I really didn't understand how much of an impact we have to the water supply and water quality until I went to that inspection. I'm talking about acres of land, like thousands of acres of land, and we're just rolling through the hills and, doing these inspections at certain points. And I just thought it was just amazing to be able to experience all the views. And I think one of the main thing was, most memorable was the fact that knowing that you were kind of the only one that got to experience that, and with the property owners as well, right?
True. Yeah.
So it's like, wow, like it's really unique. And I guess if we're summing it up down to two, I think another memorable experience would be my first time setting up our automatic meter reading systems. And I personally think that it's the future of water conservation, and that's definitely what I'm driven towards. So that's definitely a memorable experience I had.
Nice. And so speaking of setting up the automatic meter reading system, can you kind of explain to us a day in the life of your internship experience when you were an intern?
Yeah, so typically I would check for monthly reading reports. So they would come in beginning of the month, end of the month. We would enter them into our database, and then some of our systems that we use, we kind of get back to the permit holders, let them know how much they used at the end of the year or the year to date. And if it wasn't doing that, it was out on the field doing inspections, looking at the meters, making sure they were healthy, making sure that the piping system was all up to configurations. And then for the automatic meter reading systems, because they're kind of two separate things. So we have field inspection technicians, and then we have electronic technicians. And with the electronic technicians, it's all working AMR. And in the AMR, it's kind of a long day because we're setting up the poles, and then we're setting up the box, and then we have to set up the communications that give us real-time data, and then all the wiring. So I kind of felt like an electrician while I was out there, but it was definitely super fun to work with, and I was able to get all aspects of the department at that time.
And so the importance of the AMR, the automatic meter reading, is so that a well owner, when they're reporting their usage, you all rely on that versus them manually sending that to you, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think the whole selling point of that is, one, of course, it's a volunteer program. But the other thing is it kind of takes pressure and weight off the permit holder's back, because we get the readings automatically. We can just go into the system and get the reading instead of them having to, do the paperwork and send it over to us and all that good stuff. So I think that's definitely something that's beneficial to the permit holders and us as well, because, again, we're getting the meter readings to ensure sustainability for the aquifer.
It streamlines it and makes it efficient, right?
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
And so, Karen, I know you talked about your memorable experience, but can you kind of give us the day in the life of your internship experience?
Sure, yeah. So it would vary day to day. I would say we'd have some days where our Education Outreach Center was full of children, school-age children. I think the largest group we had was about 175 students here on one day. So
One
we
day.
would be just in one field trip, just on the move. We'd be working with the students, transitioning them to another station to learn different things, all different STEAM activities that we had planned for them. There'd be other days where it was quiet, so you could hear the crickets here at the EOC. And on those days, we'd be preparing and planning for the upcoming school groups. We also had opportunities to interact with teachers. So a lot of what we do here, of course, in the Communications and Development Department, it was to interact with teachers, even host teacher workshops for continuing education out here at the center, and just marketing. We'd go hang up flyers, meet people in the community, ask if we could post our flyers in their businesses. So, and everything in between. So it was a good mix. You would not get bored out here at the EOC on those days.
Yes.
Yeah, I should have mentioned we are actually on location today at the EOC in the EOC cave room. So we're surrounded by cave walls and a cave ceiling, and this is one of the rooms where children and general audiences come to learn about the aquifer. So Karen, you spent a fair amount of time in here, I imagine, too.
Yes, I have. And I like the realistic features we have in here, the
Right.
soda straws
Yeah.
and stalactites. Great
So
room.
if you hear any echoing in the audio, it's because we're in a
We're actually
simulated
in a
cave. Yeah.
That's right.
Echo.
I'd like to talk to both of y'all about, what advice you would have for people wanting to pursue a career in the specific field that you studied in. So, people that are wanting to be an intern at EAA, what advice do you have for them? So, Destiny, let's start with you.
So some advice I would give to individuals looking to intern here or just, I guess, in the water industry in general would be to find your passion and define yourself as an individual, and then find that company or agency that aligns with that. Because like I said, that's what kind of drew me here was those mission and core values. And, there's just so many opportunities within the water industry itself. So there's different avenues you could take. And I think that, science communications is absolutely great and absolutely needed. So like listening to Karen and all the experiences that she's been through, kind of opening up my eyes a little bit, like, wow, that's something that's actually needed for the community. So yeah, there's just, it's amazing how many different routes you can take and career paths you can take within the water industry.
Yes, absolutely.
Very
And to
neat.
me, something that I think is to be noted is that y'all are women in STEM. So I think
absolutely.
that is such an inspiration, I think, too, to people, interns that come after you all, and just women out there in starting their career or in their college career. I think you don't see enough of that. So I'm like, y'all are inspirations to me when I see you all out there.
And Karen, how about you? What advice do you have for future interns out there?
Well, I'm really good at giving unsolicited advice, but since you asked, let's see here. One thing I follow up with what Destiny said, you really do need to do something that you love. You have to find your passion and align yourself with an organization that matches with that. So that's, again, something here with the EAA. I just was like, wow, all these core values, it hits perfectly with what I want to do and what I stand for as a person. As far as advice for someone in I say my field, but really I mean someone who has majored in geology and wants to do even field work specifically, I would say build your skill set. If you can do that at your college campus, taking classes that are not just exam-based, but project-based, field work, lab-based, those are sometimes harder, more time-consuming, but those are really essential at building the skills you need to actually put on your resume so that when you apply for the job, you're actually capable of doing the work that's required of you. But other things, as far as if you can learn it on your own, you don't necessarily have to take a college class for it. So just use your elective credits wisely to take those things that are going to really make a difference in your career. Even if you can't get an internship, you can consider research experiences. Those can help build your skill set, and that is something that I did to help build my skill set. And don't get discouraged. As Brent said earlier, if you apply for several internships and you don't get one, don't give up. Keep applying. Maybe the time isn't right. Maybe you need to revamp your resume. Also, remember to use your college's resources, even resources on the web that are not from your school in particular to help improve your resume, write your cover letter, to improve your interview skills. All of those things come in really handy.
Absolutely. Those are good. That's great advice.
Those are great points. And
Right.
I would add, an internship, the benefit of having one is it gives you also work experience, because when you go out, when you graduate and you go to get a job, even entry-level positions are going to ask for some experience. For whatever reason, they do that. But if you have multiple internships or an internship, that gives you a leg up amongst other candidates that maybe didn't do that.
Thankfully, with my program, they actually required an internship. Well,
Oh,
not
nice.
not necessarily required. They were just like, it's either you do an internship or you take an extra class. And I was like, I want to get in the industry
Yeah.
already. I want to get that experience.
Yes.
So we actually got credits for doing the internship. So that was also a part of the reason me kind of searching out and seeking internships.
That's
Even better. Even better.
Right.
I would say that's like a triple win, because it's like you have a paid internship experience here, you get class credit, and then you get it on your career. Like you get to put it on your resume, right? Like that's a win.
Absolutely.
So I want to lump these next two questions in together because we're going to have a special reveal here. We want to talk about how your internship experience prepared you for your career. And we want you to share with us where you're at now in your careers. So Destiny, let's start with you.
Okay. So I definitely want to say that the internship laid down the stepping stones to define my career. I knew I wanted to go into the water industry. I just didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. So doing this internship kind of opened up those avenues. And I was like, you know what? I didn't realize that we can actually do something within the industry that's like field inspections, where I'm out on the field a lot.
Yeah.
So right now, so my internship got extended with the EAA. And then in March, I got a full-time position opening at the EAA. So I applied to it. And I am now a full-time employee with the EAA as a field inspection technician.
All
and
right.
everything that I learned in my internship and more has definitely set me up to be successful in this field, in this position.
And Karen, can you share with us where you're at now and how the internship prepared you for that?
Yeah, so the internship prepared me for a career by giving me an experience to work with people in science communication, which I really enjoy. As far as the coworkers and everyone I interacted with at the EAA, it was a very professional experience, so gave me the opportunity to work with all the different departments at the EAA, and I'm super excited to say that I'm now working full-time at the EAA.
Yay!
All right, that's our big reveal. Both Karen and Destiny now work for the EAA.
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, so I'm a STEAM outreach educator here at the EAA, and I just feel like it's been a great experience so far. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And Karen, can you share with us what advice you would have for people wanting to pursue a career in maybe it's communications and science related, or maybe it's just what you're doing what you're getting your PhD in? Can you kind of give some advice to students that maybe are having a hard time, or maybe they're feeling discouraged because it's a long path? What would you say to them?
Well, one of my favorite quotes to say is to don't quit. Like, you can stop for the day, but you can never quit. So whatever you're doing, don't quit.
I like that.
Yeah.
Just call it a day. Tomorrow's a new day. So just in general, good life principle I like to follow. As far as advice specifically, I would say if you are in the field that you want to be in, continue along that path and do something you enjoy in the sciences or in science communication. If it's not quite right for you, it's okay. Explore other options that are still in alignment with what your values are and what you enjoy doing, so that you find something you enjoy. And if you're interested in communications and development but aren't even a science major, that's okay too. You don't have to be a STEM major to be in communications and development at the EAA. We have interns working here now that are in business management and other majors, and you can do anything you want with communications and development. You just apply those life skills and those experiences.
Yeah, it's great advice. What about you, Destiny? What would you say to someone that's looking to kind of forge the path and go on the path that you went on?
Yeah, so definitely going back to defining yourself as an individual and then finding your passion and then applying those attributes and those values to whatever agency you're looking to go into. And as far as the path, you're going to run into experiences that you find out that, oh, I don't like this. And, and it's a good thing. You might not think it's a good thing at the time because you're like, oh, well, I kind of failed and I don't really like to do this. So I wasted my time is what you're thinking probably. But the thing is, you learn that you didn't like that experience. So now you kind of chipped away at what you don't like and you can focus on and hone in on what you do like. And it just grows you as an individual going forward. So definitely, get in tune with that, and then don't be afraid to ask for help from directors, advisors, or people already in the industry that you're looking to get into. I like
that one.
Yeah, because those
like
are
a mentor or something.
Yeah, definitely. I've had tons of mentors in my time. From my time in school to outside of school as well, and those individuals are the ones that helped me to become the individual that I am today, and ultimately help me here, because really and truly I wouldn't be here without those people helping me on the way to this path. So definitely take advantage of the people like that in your life, and don't hold back on seeking those individuals in your life. I think another huge thing I'd like to mention is networking is a huge deal as well. The more you network, the more you get in touch with your community, the more you start understanding, okay, this is what I like and this is what I want to do and this is what I want to focus on. So when you get that together, I think your path to success is much better.
Yeah, that's so true. The intern I have currently, Marielle, she actually networked with me, knew me before the internship. So when her application came up, I was like, I know exactly who this is, what she's about, and it helped me all that much more hire her.
Yes, I think that's the kind of best kept secret is the networking component. I feel like you can feel a little bit hesitant to do those types of things because it might be out of some people's comfort zones, right? To go and let people that they're either their mentors or potential places that they want to work at know that they're interested in pursuing a career in that. But I'm like, that's how you get the opportunities.
Right. Yeah, and your name gets recognized, right? Like Brent was saying, he saw the name there and he was like, oh, I know this individual. So when you start doing that more, people will start realizing or noticing that your name is coming up, and they're like, well, that's kind of the first grab because I know what this individual is about, very trustworthy, reliable. Yeah. And they're like, well, let's get them on board. And
eager, right? Like you're wanting to.
Yes.
You're putting yourself out there.
Right.
And to add on to that, the internships at the EAA, the staff here at the EAA are extremely supportive and encouraging, not just in the careers themselves, but for students to pursue their dreams and to continue their education. And so they will really do whatever they can to help you along that path. And if it's you're working in the communications development department and your interest is in the field, they will try to give you an opportunity to get into the field or go visit the field research park or go do water testing. So the opportunities are there. You just have to make the most of those opportunities, which is one of the things my fellow educator Sarah likes to say.
Yes.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I've had more than a dozen interns over the years, and I have to say that I've learned just as much from them as I've taught them in the field. They always bring something, an excitement to the work, energy that is sometimes missing and helps other people around them. So in my experience, it's just been amazing to have interns every year helping us out. And I know for the EOC anyways, they're vital to what happens here.
Absolutely, yes.
Karen and Destiny, thank you so much for joining us today. We loved hearing your opinions and your experiences about the internship. And thanks again.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much for having us.
And we're glad that y'all work at the EAA.
Yeah,
so excited to see y'all's faces every day.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Before we close out this episode, we have a bonus special guest. She was a previous intern in the Communications and Development Department at the Edwards Aquifer Authority, and her name is Sarah Severa. Tune in as she shares with us her experience as an intern and where she is now. Thanks for being here with us today, Sarah.
Yes, thank you so much, Ann-Margaret. I really appreciate the invite to y'all's podcast.
Yes, and so Sarah Severa was our intern. Would you say it was maybe a year ago?
Yeah, I would say so. It was like in the summer of last year, I do believe.
And so you interned with the Communications and Development Department. And so we're here kind of highlighting past interns and kind of figuring out where you are now. Can you share a little bit about yourself and how you came to work as an intern and what drew you to choose this experience as your internship experience?
Yeah, definitely. So I found out about this internship because at my university, I was studying communications, and I still hadn't gotten my focus yet. So I knew that I either wanted to go into PR or journalism. And when I was doing my research, I saw that the Edwards Aquifer was looking for a communications intern. And I thought, you know what? That's perfect. I want to go see if I can go refine some skills. I applied, and sure enough, I got it. And so I think the internship that I had with y'all really helped me learn what the PR side is like. So getting to know how both ends worked, specifically with the PR side with y'all, really helped me because now as a journalist, I know kind of what the public relations and PR officers are looking for and needing at the same time. So
can you recall like maybe a moment where you were like, oh wow, like I'm getting to do this, or this is something that I'm so excited that I'm getting to be a part of? Can you recall any of those moments within your internship experience?
Yeah, I remember, I think it was when we were doing the one of the shoots. Nikki had brought in all of the different actors and all the different talent.
Oh, yes.
And I think that was probably my most memorable and favorite experience there because I loved interacting with everyone. I loved helping like lead the different groups, and it was just so fun.
It looked like a wonderful day, and it looked like some great content.
Yeah, it definitely was. And just, I don't know, for me being able to, because it made me feel like I always had a role, like I had something important to do, and that's what I was very appreciative of. Like, I remember I was in charge of the binder, so I was the one checking in everyone.
Oh, good.
I was the one helping out with, like, basically what Nikki helped so much in showing me what it's like to be on, like, the managing side to shoot these types of promotional videos and really, like, dive deep into that kind of, like, promotional aspect.
Yes.
And so I really appreciated that.
So how do you feel like this experience, this internship experience that you had with us, prepared you for the career that you're in now and helped you grow professionally?
So when my Edwards Aquifer communications internship was coming to an end, I was already looking for another internship, another opportunity. So I ended up applying to SA Live. And one of the things that they were impressed by was that I was able to learn all the things in terms of like the promotional things. One of the things that I did as an intern at SA Live was help book guests.
Oh, nice.
And reach out to people. So I think that's one of the things that helped me. I learned that skill as an intern at the Edwards Aquifer because I was reaching out to people to invite them to events. I was reaching out to make sure that, you know, I was collecting their information for the promotional videos. Like, it was definitely one of those skills that I needed that progressed with me. And I mean, now, daily, from the moment I wake up until the moment I go to sleep, I'm constantly reaching out to sources. I'm constantly sending emails. And so definitely helped. Per se, I kind of dip my toes into the water.
Yes. And so, okay, so I want to ask you kind of, when we were doing some of the promotions for the Education Outreach Center, and you met Mike Osterhage from SA Live, was that kind of the first interaction that you had with reporters? How did you, I guess, kind of come into the career that you're in now, and how do you feel like you're in the internship experience prepared you for that? Maybe not even just the internship experience that you had at the EAA, but your internship experience with SA Live.
I had always grown up watching Mike and Fiona and all of them. So as an intern, when we had them come over to do a segment about the Edwards Aquifer Outreach Center, I was just like, wow, this is so cool. Like, as a PR person, we're like, I'm able to meet these people. And from there, I was like, you know, I let them know, I was like, yeah, I'm going to start my internship. I had already known at that point that I was going to be going over to SA Live. So it was just so cool that it kind of was like a bridge to help me get to the next opportunity.
Yes, that's amazing. That's wonderful. And so what, I guess, from coming from the background that you have and what you're doing now as a journalist and a reporter, what would you tell like younger Sarah Severa, like in the field, trying to figure out what she wants to do and what career she wants to pursue? And then also advice for people who want to pursue and go down the path that you went and ultimately become a journalist or a reporter. What advice would you have for them?
I think one of the biggest things that I would tell someone if they're thinking about becoming a journalist, and they may have started out like me, going PR route and then figuring out they wanted to be a journalist, is one of the things that I constantly dealt with as an intern and still kind of struggle with now is thinking, oh, am I good enough? Am I going to be able to do this job? I would tell that person, just keep going. Don't ever think that, oh, I'm not good enough, maybe I should just stop, because it's worth it. If you just keep going and have that support system around you. I was lucky enough to have amazing friends and family who were always by my side and just kind of cheering me on. But I would just tell them, don't give up, keep going, and it honestly will pay off in the end.
And I also think too, like, you know, when you're graduating from high school and you're going into college and you're picking your degree and you're doing all that stuff, I feel like, you know, the world tries to tell you, oh, you know, the path is linear, like you do A, B, C, D, and it goes like down that trajectory. But when you get into it and you actually realize things and you experience it, you're like, well, the path is not always linear, and sometimes that's a good thing. Like sometimes maybe you go a different way and it doesn't pan out and you're like, okay, well, I know that that's not something that I want to pursue or something I want to do, so let me pivot and go this other route that I have an interest in. So I think, like you said, you don't give up just when something isn't going your way. Maybe it forges a new path for you in a different direction.
And I think too, because a lot of the times it's scary even taking that first step to even apply for an internship. I know a lot of the times, because, I mean, I came from a single family. A lot of the times you're surrounded by other responsibilities, other things that you have to do. And so if there was someone out there with those same, you know, I guess, obstacles or things like that, it's just making that first step, just sending that application. And honestly, so many doors will open. So, yeah.
Yes. Definitely. And like believing in yourself. And like you said, the support system is such a great thing to have, because they help steer you and keep you afloat, right? And help you go in the right direction.
Definitely agree.
So I want to ask you, I know we kind of dabbled and kind of talked about it here and there, that you're a journalist and a reporter now, but can you let us know like what you're doing, where you are now, and how that's been going?
Yeah, so I graduated May of 2023 from A&M San Antonio, and 3 weeks later, I walked into my very first broadcast journalism job down here in the Rio Grande Valley. I am a broadcast reporter at KRGV Channel 5 News. They're the ABC affiliate. So the sister station in San Antonio is KSAT.
Okay.
And so I am loving it down here. It definitely, I just finished up my 3 months, and I feel like I've learned so much. As a broadcast journalist, I am in charge of turning a package, which is essentially a story every single day, and a VSB, which is basically a mini story. So basically 2 stories every day I'm in charge of turning. So I have to go network with the community. I have to find those stories, pitch those stories, and write those stories. And it's all on deadline. It's a fast-paced job, and you have to definitely manage your time wisely, but I've loved every second. It's been great.
Yes, and I would say, like, it's amazing to see, and I'm so happy for you, because I just feel like all around it's it's serving the community and you're making a difference in people's lives because you're reporting to them current things that are important that they should be thinking about, that they should know about.
Definitely. I definitely agree. There's so many things down here because in the Rio Grande Valley, at our station, we cover the 4 different counties. We cover Star, Hidalgo, Legacy, and Cameron County. And so as a general assignments reporter, I can go to either county if I see like a story.
So as we're wrapping up here, I wanted to ask you if there's anything else that you want to share, maybe something like if you feel like your internship experiences kind of gave you that platform to kind of get into the next phase of your career.
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of people have asked, so, how did you learn all this? Like, how did you, know how to do these types of stories or write these types of scripts? And I tell them it was all in the internships. The more internships that you can get your feet into, the better, because I think that experience really, really helps. Me and my friend, we both came down here to the Valley. My friend Lily, she graduated from Tumusa as well. And we came down here at the same time. And being able to do this and get those internships experiences really, really helped. And if one piece of advice, again, I would give is just don't be scared. Don't think that, I might not have what it takes to be an intern here. I don't know if I'm good enough. Just do it. Just apply.
And I would say too, like, and I don't know, would you say too, like, even take the leap of faith, because you lived in San Antonio, so that was a ways away for you, and taking that opportunity, right?
Definitely. It was definitely scary. There was a lot of factors that could have stopped me from coming. I mean, it's been a journey, but taking that leap of faith is great.
That's amazing, Sarah. Well, I want to say thank you again for being on the podcast, and I'm so excited to see all of the things that you will do in your career.
Thank you so much, Ann-Margaret. I really appreciate y'all giving me a call and letting me be on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Recharge Zone podcast. Have questions, ideas for topics, or things you would like to share with us? Well, reach out to us at rechargezone@edwardsaquifer.org.